What if I told you that you could change your life by changing just a few tiny things you do every day? Habits are the invisible architects of our everyday lives. Charles Duhigg. Hey everyone, have you ever wondered why you do the things you do every day? Like that morning cup of coffee you just can't seem to skip, or maybe that afternoon scroll through social media. Well, guess what? Those are habits, and they have a huge impact on our lives. Did you know that over 40% of our daily actions are actually habits? That's a crazy amount, right? But hey, the good news is, if we understand how habits work, we can actually use them to our advantage. That's where today's awesome book comes in. The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. This Pulitzer Prize-winning author cracks the code on habits, showing us how they tick and how we can use that knowledge to change our lives for the better. So, buckle up, because we're about to dive deep into the fascinating world of habits and learn how to make them work for us, not against us. We'll talk about the science behind habits, how to identify them, and most importantly, how to change them so we can reach our goals and become the best versions of ourselves. Let's do this. Section 1. The science behind habits. All right, let's dive into the mind-blowing science behind habits. Imagine your brain as a computer. When you do something new, it creates a new neural pathway. The more you repeat that action, the stronger that pathway becomes. And before you know it, boom, habit formed. This process is called the habit loop, and it consists of three key elements. Cue, the trigger that starts the habit routine. It could be anything from a time of day to a certain emotion. Routine, the actual behavior you perform. This is the autopilot mode your brain loves. Reward, the positive feeling or outcome that reinforces the habit. It's your brain's way of saying, hey, that was good. Do it again. So, our brains are constantly looking for ways to save energy, and habits are their go-to strategy. They're like shortcuts that allow us to do things without having to think too hard. But wait, what about willpower? Doesn't that play a role in habits? Well, yes and no. Willpower is like a muscle. It gets tired when you use it too much. So, relying solely on willpower to break a habit is like trying to run a marathon without training. It's tough. The good news is, we don't have to fight our habits head-on. Instead, we can outsmart our brains by understanding how they work and using that knowledge to our advantage. Remember, habits are not about willpower. They're about understanding the brain's reward system and using it to create new, positive habits that serve us. Stay tuned for the next section, where we'll explore how to harness the power of habits to transform our lives. Section 2. How to change your habits. All right, let's get real. How do we actually change our habits? It's not about willpower, as we learned earlier. It's about understanding the habit loop and hacking it to our advantage. Step 1. Identify your habits. Grab a notebook or your phone and start tracking your habits for a week. Write down everything you do, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. Be honest with yourself. Step 2. Understand the habit loop. Once you've identified your habits, it's time to break them down into their cue, routine, and reward components. This will help you see where you can make changes. Step 3. Change the loop. Remember, the key to changing a habit is to change the loop. Here are some tips. Find a new cue. If your current cue triggers a bad habit, find a new one that triggers a good one. For example, instead of reaching for a snack when you're stressed, take a walk instead. Make the routine enjoyable. If you find a habit boring, make it more fun. For example, if you hate exercising, try dancing or listening to music while you work out. Choose a better reward. If the reward for a bad habit isn't worth it, find a better one. For example, instead of watching TV for relaxation, try reading or taking a bath. Step 4. Be patient and consistent. Changing habits takes time and effort. Don't get discouraged if you slip up. Just pick yourself up and keep going. Remember, small changes lead to big results. Celebrate your progress along the way, no matter how small it may seem. With these tips, you are well on your way to becoming the habit master of your own life. Section 3. Examples of the power of habit. All right, let's see how we can use the power of habits to transform our lives. Personal habits. Want to get fit? Make exercise a habit by setting a specific time each day to work out and sticking to it, even when you don't feel like it. Craving a healthier diet. Start by swapping sugary drinks for water and adding more fruits and veggies to your meals. Wish you read more? Make reading a habit by setting aside 15 minutes each day to read, even if it's just before bed. Breaking bad habits. Trying to quit smoking? Find a new cue to replace the one that triggers your cravings, like taking a walk or chewing gum. Feeling stressed? Make relaxation a habit by practicing mindfulness or taking a hot bath. Struggling with procrastination? Break down tasks into smaller, more manageable steps and reward yourself for completing them. Habits in business. Want to boost employee productivity? Encourage positive habits like taking regular breaks and setting clear goals. Trying to improve customer service? Make it a habit to go the extra mile for your customers, like remembering their names or preferences. Aiming to create a more innovative culture? Encourage employees to share ideas and experiment with new approaches. Remember, habits are not just about personal change. They can also have a profound impact on businesses and organizations. By understanding the power of habits, we can create positive change in all aspects of our lives. All right, let's wrap things up. We've learned that habits are the invisible architects of our lives, shaping our thoughts, actions, and ultimately our destiny. By understanding the science behind habits and using that knowledge to our advantage, we can transform our lives for the better. We've explored how to identify our habits, change the habit loop, and use the power of habits to achieve our goals. Remember, habits are not about willpower. They are about understanding how our brains work and using that knowledge to create positive change. So, go out there and harness the power of habits. Create habits that serve you, not the other way around. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the fascinating world of habits. I hope you've learned something valuable that you can apply to your own life. Until next time, stay awesome.